Good morning. Good morning. My name is Joel Ibanez, and I am your worship associate today. I'm joined in welcoming you by our Reverend Sian Wiltshire, our minister, Jacob Swetland, our director of music ministries, and Danielle Lewis, our director of religious education for children and youth. Whether you've been here 30 years or 3, 10 months or 10 minutes, we welcome you. For those of you in the room, you'll note that we have some different seating arrangements this morning. Don't worry, it will go back to the normal arrangement next Sunday. But
maybe not, maybe not.
Maybe not, maybe not. But this curved seating will be what we will have built with the new sanctuary. So, if it feels awkward, well, that's how trying something new often feels. For our Zoomers, you'll want to get a piece of yarn or string about 1.5 feet long if you'd like to participate in a fun ritual that we're going to be doing for this service. I want to send a special welcome to visitors. If you're seeking a spiritual home, we hope that you'll find it here. Even if you think we set up chairs weirdly. We are a community of many different identities and beliefs. We are bound together not by dogmas, creeds, or fears, but rather a covenant to create welcoming, inclusive, and loving community. We need not think alike to love alike. In the spirit of building this community, let's recognize the many volunteers who have helped to bring this service together to us today. Thank you. Roomers, we invite you to silence your cell phones, and Zoomers, we invite you to say hello in the chat. As we worship today, let us acknowledge that our church property rests on the sacred ancestral homelands of the Ahachimen and Tongva peoples who seek justice and responsible stewardship. We begin our worship with the lighting of our chalice. And this morning, I'd like to invite Carol Rohr, like the lion. Carol has been coming to our church for about 6 months now and has now been a new member as of 1 month ago. She is a Huntington Beach resident, originally from Long Beach, retired from the mortgage and banking industry for which she was a part of for about 38 years. She loves doing kayaking, hiking, and playing piano. So please, join us. Let our worship begin with the lighting of the chalice as we say our unison affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. To dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to help one another, this we affirm together.
Please rise in body or spirit and let's sing our opening song, Wo Ya Ya. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know it is. And we will get there, heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going, but we know with
So we gather this morning in the spirit of curiosity and growth, reminding ourselves that life itself is a classroom without walls. Each day offers us lessons, sometimes in the joyful embrace of discovery, other times in the quiet persistence of challenge. To learn is to live, and to live fully is to open our hearts and minds to the unknown, to the questions that shape us and the truths that transform us. So let us enter this time together with a spirit of wonder, ready to grow in wisdom and compassion. And may we inspire one another to never stop learning, for the journey of understanding is endless and the rewards are boundless. Come, let us learn together. So doesn't Carrie play just beautifully? So Carrie, how long have you been playing the piano? 10 years she's been playing the piano, okay. And how often do you practice?
I used to play like 5 days, I would say, but now it's only like 3 days.
Okay, so she used to practice at 5 days a week, and now she practices about 3. When you get that good, I guess you can do that. So if I practiced as much as you 5 times a day, would I get as good as you? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I played the flute when I was in high school, and I didn't practice. So I wasn't really all that good at it. I would try to practice, right? But I get frustrated because it didn't, of course, come out perfectly. And I have tried throughout my life I've tried to play the piano, the guitar, the violin, the Native American flute, the recorder, and acoustic guitar. And every single time, it never happened, right? And the story that I would tell myself is, well, really, Sean, you're just not very musical. You really aren't any good at it. And then one day I came to church, and Susan over here had brought her banjolele, okay? Ooh-ah. And she and Phil were sitting next to each other, and it reminded me like I love the sound of the banjo, and I've always wanted to play it. So I told her this. Now, when you tell the universe that you want to do something, be prepared, okay? because Phil looks at me and goes, "Do you want one?" And I was like, a banjo? Like, yeah. So it turns out Susan had been gifted one, but she didn't play it, so she gifted it to Phil, but he didn't play it, so he gifted it to me. So I was like, okay, now I guess I actually have to learn how to play the banjo. And I was really nervous because this story I tell myself, right, is that I'm not musical. I can't learn to play an instrument. But I started realizing I'm telling myself a story because all of those other instruments I tried, I never had a teacher. I tried to teach myself. And I thought, okay, well, this time I'm going to try getting a teacher. All right. So I did kind of all kinds of research about banjos, and it turns out that actually the 5-string banjo, which is what he gave me and what you, can we go to there we go. Oops, and then one more. We're a little bit behind. We're going backward, there we go. So this banjo is a 5-string banjo, right? And it plays bluegrass, and you play it with these metal things on your fingers, and maybe you've seen Scruggs or Steve Martin play them, and they're all really kind of cool and everything. But what I really wanted to play was Irish jigs and reels. That's the song that makes me want to dance, right? So I ended up actually getting an Irish tenor banjo, okay? And don't worry, I am not going to play for you today. I have committed to doing it for open mic night in the spring, and I will be there, but not today, other than I will just, give you the sound of it. So now the Irish tenor banjo, okay, has 4 strings, which was the other thing I thought, ooh, one less string, that'll make it easier. It really doesn't. Now, why this is called a Irish tenor banjo, so there are regular tenor banjos. Nobody really knows why it's called a tenor banjo. They think that there was a tango craze in the 1920s or 10s, and the tango got turned to tenor, and that's why. But it's called a tenor banjo, and the way that it's strung is for Irish, right? Is the Irish way, which is G-D-A-E. So you can see there's a little bit of an Irish feel to it. Kind of, all right. So, but I did the right thing, and I got a teacher. His name is Robin. He actually lives, he's Welsh, and he comes from the UK, and he teaches me all kind of jigs and reels. And if you come to open mic night, you might actually get to see one. So, or hear one. Let's see here. So then one day I was actually doing some research about my teacher, because I was just kind of curious, because I knew he was in a band, a Welsh band. And I heard him playing this instrument called bouzouki. And I loved it. It was such a cool sound. And part of it was that I have also always wanted to learn how to play the lute. Okay? Yeah, I know. And, but this I figured was the closest I was going to get. So I got a bouzouki. So this is a bouzouki. This is an Irish bouzouki that actually comes out of Greece. The Greek ones are actually curved around the back. But you play this in, again, also Irish jigs and reels, but you can hear the sound of it. It's got that really lovely, like, resonant sound, right? I love that sound. So I was like, wow, okay. So, and it turns out Robin, he could teach me both the Irish tenor banjo and bouzouki, and we go back and forth whenever we're doing lessons. So now I get to learn 2 instruments. But then, YouTube is a scary place. And I was doing some research. At some point, I came across somebody playing classical guitar, okay? So yeah. Now, classical guitar is very different from what Phil plays. He plays acoustic guitar and bass guitar. Do you play classical guitar too? Yeah, you do? All right. So classical guitar is just a lovely, lovely sounding thing. Like, right, isn't that just pretty? Like if you just do. I mean, it's pretty, right? And I was like, oh, I have to learn how to play that too. So I am now learning Irish tenor banjo, Irish bouzouki, and classical guitar. I have a wonderful teacher, not the same one. She is actually from Argentina, and she lives in Toronto. So you can learn these things all around the place. Now, here's the truth about all of this, is that I'm really not good at every one of them. And that's okay. I'm okay because I don't practice as much as I should. I have a really busy job, right, that I love. This to me is fun. It's just something fun to do, and I really enjoy making the music. And all this started because simply I told someone that I wanted to learn to play the banjo. So sometimes you put stuff out there and the universe is going to lead you on some amazing adventures. So now I do also want to point out that this is a rather expensive rabbit hole that I have been on, and I recognize the privilege that this has for me. These are not the most expensive instruments out there, but they're not cheap either. Not everyone can do that necessarily, but it's something that I want to encourage you. Just go down a rabbit hole and see where it leads you. And I've also always wanted to play the cello and the harp. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. All right. And if you would like to try your hand at any of these instruments after the service, you are welcome to do so. So that is our show and tell for our Time for All Ages this morning. And I would like to invite Danielle Lewis up here to sing our children out to the religious education classes. There she is. And both our children and our teachers. So let's do it. So, what do you all think about this new seating arrangement? I have this whole homily about how it's not working. No, I'm just kidding. I'm glad you like it. Isn't this interesting? Yeah, you know, like it's sometimes there are things that are a little bit uncomfortable. Like some people have a little bit of their back to the choir, but not too bad over there. And then there's some like long seats. I'm a little bit worried about people being able to get out in an emergency, but I'm thinking we might play with this a little bit. What do you guys think? It's kind of fun. It feels, someone came up to me earlier and they said it feels much more intimate, right? It's kind of cool. I'm getting lots of nods. Cool, right on, okay. All this. So I was going to blame Nancy, but now I'm going to give her credit. It turns out yesterday there was a lovely memorial service here for one of our Quaker friends. And the Quakers, as you know, they do most things in the round. And so they arranged it this way. And afterwards, Nancy was like, this is kind of cool. Let's leave it that way. And I was like, well, it is Try Something New Sunday. So, hey, yeah, let's do that. So there we go. So thank you, Nancy. All right. Now, here's the thing. I love learning, and it means so much to me to learn something new. I just want to soak up everything in the world out there. But the problem with learning as we get older is that we forget that learning or trying something new can be really hard, right? Like most things as we've gotten older become a little bit easier for us, right? You know, we can do some things, but it can be also really uncomfortable when it's so new to us, like learning a musical instrument. And you know, children, of course, they know how to learn, right? They do it every single day. They're learning how to walk, they're learning how to talk and form sentences, and you know, new concepts are coming to them, new words, how to ride a bike, all that sort of thing. And they get frustrated. You've seen kids, you know, like they get frustrated, but they still keep at it, right? Because they practice. Yeah. As adults, we somehow think that we're supposed to know it all, and we don't like being uncomfortable or frustrated or any of those things. And what happens is that we sometimes then create stories that protect us from that uncomfortable feeling, right? We create stories to protect ourselves from kind of failure or frustration, and so we're afraid to try anything new. Now, this came up for me recently. This last fall, some of you know, I took a class over at Orange Coast College in drawing. Right now, I started drawing about 6 or 7 years ago. I was not someone who doodled in drew my whole life. But 6 or 7 years ago, I decided I was going to take up drawing, and I learned mostly online or books, and that was fine. But I've really dropped off with it the last, I don't know, 4 years or so. I just kind of haven't done it as much, and I miss it. I really wanted to do it, and I know me, after getting my teachers for the musicians, I'm like, I need a teacher. I need someone that I am reporting to and accountable to. So I thought, I'm going to take this class, right? I'm such a kiss ass. I do really well with teachers. But at any rate, and I remember coming to my class, I'm getting everything ready, I sit down and I look around, and I'm in a classroom full of 18 to 20-year-olds, okay? And it's funny because they're all doing this, right? And, even the teacher, like I could be the teacher's mother, right, okay? I am the oldest by far of anyone there in the room. And I started getting really uncomfortable, right? And these stories start playing in my head. I really don't have time for this. I'm really busy, And then, these kids are going to probably think I'm some weirdo, some old person coming in here. What are they doing here? They probably all draw better than me anyways. I'm going to look like a fool. What am I doing here? I don't belong here. I don't belong here. That's what kind of shifted me out of that, because we're all about belonging, right, as UUs. And I was like, okay, Sean, take a deep breath. And I realized that I was making up a story to make myself feel more comfortable. Nowhere did those kids ever even look at me as to give me any indication that they thought I was weird or whatever, right? And Brene Brown, who I love, she says, she has this little thing when it comes up. She says, the story I'm telling myself is. So the story I told myself is, I don't belong in this classroom full of 18 and 20-year-olds. But then I started remembering back when I was in college, right? And how uncomfortable it is for everybody. And that's why they're looking down at their phones, because they don't know what to do either. They don't know how to belong. I'm like, I know how to belong. I know how to get people talking to one another. I know how to make people feel good and invite them. I may not have as much talent, but I've got life experience. And so I started reaching out to people. Thank you. I get some applause there, Zoomers. Now, I may not have all their talent, but I have life experience, and I knew how to encourage, how to make people feel at ease and help them find their voices. And that's what I did. I started reaching out to people like, wow, you did that? That's so cool. Well done. Oh, I like that part right there. That's really nice. And I never lie. Just so you know, if I ever pay you a compliment, I mean it. I have learned this. You do not lie. I might not say something, but I will not lie. And never once, like I said, did those kids ever make me feel unwelcome and everything. They actually were incredibly kind, and they started actually reaching out to me. I'm like the other adult in the room. They're like, so did the teacher say when the deadline was for that project? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, hey, Matt, what's the deadline? Teaching them how to say things. Like he would get up there on the blackboard and he'd say, okay, what is this called? And I would always be like, it's called this, it's called shading or whatever it was, right? And finally it would be like, all right, you guys, don't make me say it. Come on, you all know the answer. And so I would get them to do it. And they loved it. They'd laugh. Everybody started getting along really well and hearing from each other. And I'd start going up to people, like, are you an art major? All of that sort of thing. So, in fact, I made a wonderful friend. Her name, I think she's 20. Whoops, there we go. This is Jackie. And she actually was a ceramics major. She just got her certificate in ceramics, and this was her final project. And I wanted to see it, and so she took me down to where it was being displayed at Orange Coast College, and these kids, they're so incredibly talented. It's just amazing to me. So she comes from a particular place in Mexico. I can't remember. It's called, what? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. There you go. Gina knows, right on. Michoacan. Michoacan. Okay, there you go. Thank you. And she recognized this because there is this thing called La Danza de los Viejitos, which is the dance of the old men. And it was something that actually happens in her culture down in Mexico. And so she put this all together, this whole sort of display around it. And there's certain costumes and way that they dance and certain shoes that they wear and everything. And I'm like learning all this thing about a culture I didn't know anything about. I thought it was really cool. And she was tickled pink that someone came down and saw her stuff. So here's the thing about learning something new. When you open yourself up, it'll take you on adventures you never even knew were there. So next time you feel uncomfortable about learning something new or feel like you don't belong, just ask yourself, what is the story I'm telling myself? What is the story I'm telling myself? And a story is just a story. Brené Brown says this. She said, when we have the courage to walk into our story and own it, we get to write the ending. And when we don't own our stories, they own us, right? They own us. And I love that when people reach out and they have all these different ways of learning. The Dalai Lama, right? You know, he's like a binge watcher of CNN. He loves to learn. It's awesome. You know, he loves science, anything that opens his mind. You know, people think that Jesus sort of came fully formed, right? He'd had a 1 or a 3 year ministry, depending on which gospel you want to look at. But he learns too in the gospel. There's someone who actually comes up to him, right? And takes some sort of energy out of him. He's like, who did that? And it's this woman who is sort of looked down upon, right? And he says, you know, oh, you shouldn't have done that, right? And she says, oh, come on, even those of us lowlifes really need some help. And he's like, you're right, right? He learns. He didn't come fully formed as this prophet. We don't know what happened the first 30 years of his life or so. Some people think he went to India. I'm sure he learned from Rabbi Hillel and other Jews. So everybody learns, and even in Proverbs 18:15, it says, wise men and women are always learning, always listening for fresh insights. And I think that's true. And there's a lot of people here in this room who are really good at that, or willing to try just about anything. Let me tell you about a couple of them. Let's see, there's Barbara Schilling. I remember Barbara Schilling when I first came here. She was the VP Finance. She knows absolutely nothing about finance. And she knew it. She's like, but I can run a meeting. That's fine. I can do that. And then she came up to me one Sunday and she said, you know, I think I'd really like to be a worship associate. Okay. And then after a while, she stepped down from that and she's like, I think I'm going to join the choir. And she joined the choir. That openness to trying something new any time is amazing to me. If you think about Marcia Hackett, if you all know Marcia, you know that she is constantly learning. She is a world traveler. She was a docent over at Bowers Museum, and she recently taught herself, she took a class on how to teach others how to talk about their life story. Isn't that cool? Right? Catherine Martin, I was just texting her, she's here today, back from the cold Midwest, and she's always reading a book, usually about science of some sort, always reading something new, and I love that, right? And I'll tell you, just about every single president in this congregation has said to me, I really don't know how to be a president, but okay, I guess I'll learn. And they do! By the end of it, they've learned how to do it. This is something amazing that in people that I just love. And you know, we talk about learning something new as something that might be art or singing or something like that, but it doesn't have to be, right? Learning something new can be about controlling your anger. It can be about your self-esteem and wanting to help your self-esteem. It could be about being a better parent or being kinder to people, right? Those are also skills. And we all know, right, that learning something new is good for our mind, right? There's like a million studies out there that say that if you learn, music or a language or even doing word puzzles, right, will help stave off dementia, right? It's a really good reason to learn something new. But it's also good for your body because hobbies are relaxing, right? They go with the stress of your lives. And also you get to connect with new people in all the different ways that they come up. You know that teacher, Matt, over at Orange Coast College? Turns out he plays the Irish tenor banjo. Like, this is an obscure thing, right? And he plays the Irish tenor banjo. So we chatting about that. So it helps you connect with other people too. So in short, learning something new is good for the mind, body, and soul. So if you've ever told yourself, I'm not good at math, I can't learn computers, I can't draw, dance, or sing, or whatever it is. That's a story. That is a story you are telling yourself. Seriously, everyone can learn. And it's okay if you don't want to learn. I really do not want to learn how to do bungee jumping. Okay? No desire to do that. And I have to admit, of all the instruments, drums doesn't excite me as much as other things, although I could really use rhythm, but you know. But every person is capable of learning anything. I'm serious. I know that probably some of you are going through your head going, yeah, but not me, I can't. Yeah. Okay, trust me. If you have the right teacher and you practice, you will get better at these things. All right, so we're going to start this morning by practicing building some new stories. Okay, I want to invite you into a time of meditation. If you want to take a deep breath, get settled, and we're going to go through some questions that I'm going to ask you. Take some deep breaths. All right, I want you to call to your mind a time when you had to learn something new. We've all been there. Time when you had to learn something new. And how did that feel? When you first started? Maybe when you got better at it? How did it feel? Now I want to invite you at a time to remember a time when you failed to learn something and it didn't work out. When you failed to learn something, and how did that feel? And what story did you tell yourself? If you can, finish the sentence. The story I'm telling myself is. The story I'm telling myself is. Now, think of something you've always wanted to learn. You've always wanted to learn this. Something that nags at you. It can be a hard skill, like an instrument or singing or anything, or it could be a soft skill, like letting go of anger, how to give a baby a diaper, wrap them in a diaper, I don't know, whatever. Something you want to work on, and it doesn't have to be practical. And what is the story that's coming up for you? I don't have time, I don't belong there. What's the story? Okay, think of that thing that you want to try, something new you want to learn. Take a deep breath and let go of any stories that hold you back, and then join Jacob and the choir in singing.
Open my heart to all that I see. Let me be part of the love you give. Open my heart to all that I see. seek, let me be part of the love you give. Open my heart to all that I seek, let me be part of the love you give.
Okay, here's where the rubber meets the road. I want to help you make your dreams come true of learning something new. So, roomers, I'm going to invite you up here to this microphone over here. If you feel comfortable, you can say what it is that you would like to learn. You don't have to say, you can just simply say, I'm going to learn something new. I'm going to tie a ribbon, not a ribbon, it's a little string of yarn, around your wrist as your commitment. Kind of like, we used to put strings on our fingers to remember something. This is going to go around your wrist. And then we're going to give you a blessing. So you want to show the blessing here real quick. And then Zoomers, you can participate by writing what you would like to learn, or simply, I'd like to learn something new, and put it in the chat, and then we'll give you a blessing as well. Now, why am I tying a string? As I said, it's a way to commit to something. And I'm going to ask you, where you use we do not demand, but I'm going to ask you to not take it off until you make one step in the direction of learning that new thing. Okay? Now that step is up to you, okay? You can read a book. You can start doing a search online. You can find a teacher, whatever it is that you want to make that step, all right? But the idea is you can't take the string off until you make a step towards learning that new thing. This is to help you, right? You guys got this? Okay. So let's practice this blessing together. Together. May this new learning bring you wisdom, growth, and connection. All right, Zoomers, you can start putting in the chat, and I'm going to invite people up here. I will tie this on to you. You can tell us what it is that you want, and then we will bless you. Don't all rush up here. Zoe, excellent. Would you like to try?
I would like to learn how to knit.
All right, and together.
May this new learning bring you wisdom, growth, and connection.
I sing a lot, but I'm not very good at releasing the big note at the end. You know, the one where the voice comes out and then it kind of opens and then wavers and then something about my breath control. I don't know what it is, but we got to work on that.
Stay up here, be blessed.
May this new learning bring you wisdom, growth, and connection.
In a big voice.
Hi, everybody. So I've always wanted to learn how to play the piano, and my mother was a piano player, but I chose to play the flute, but then I kind of got lost interest and wanted to play piano, but she's like, no, you got to stick with it. So I was like you. I never got that good at the flute because I didn't really want to. But now you've motivated me, you've inspired me, so I'm going to learn how to play the piano.
I want to improve my Spanish.
All right.
May this new learning bring you wisdom, growth, and connection.
Thank you.
I want to learn to speak Spanish.
All right.
May this new learning bring you wisdom, growth, and connection.
Thank you.
Let's see here. How about
Ladies
all right,
first.
one more here, and then we'll go. We got these two over here too.
I want to learn how to sing solfege so that I can learn how to sight sing. So I play an instrument, but I don't improv at all, and I want to learn how to do that. So that's my step.
Yes. That is really hard. That's a story I'm telling myself. It's going to be easy for you.
It's a beginning thing.
Yeah, that's right. All right. All right.
I want to get talented at using generative AI.
Right.
May this new learning bring you wisdom, growth, and connection.
Dave?
Yeah, I want to really understand quantum computing. I've made a start, but only about that much.
Right.
May this new learning bring you wisdom, growth, and connection.
Hello, everybody. So one of my things that I've been trying to do and start for a long time is a choral and vocal ensemble that is specifically targeted for Baroque music. So I love like Baroque music, Bach, Vivaldi. So that's one of my things that I'm trying to start this year is a small ensemble that focuses on Baroque music in Orange County. So if you want to do that, you know where to find me.
Don't they play lutes?
They do play lutes.
All right, well, will this new learning
Wisdom.
All right. Simone.
Well, then it's my New Year resolution, the main one. Wherever I go, which is most morning, it's always a mad rush. I want to get ready early and not the stress that, I make it on time but barely. So this is, I need to work on that. It will be progressive. It will never be 100%,
Practice. Yeah, there you go. All right, well.
May this new learning bring you wisdom, growth, and connection.
I need to learn how to do navigation using quaternions.
What?
Sorry.
What are quaternions?
Quaternions. It's a navigation angle representation that I haven't really ever gotten my head around, so I need to learn how to do it. So, sorry, it's my stumbling block. It's been a stumbling block for years, but I really need to. And I'm telling myself I don't need to use that, but I really do, so, sorry.
And then you're going to come back and explain to us what that all is. All right. Well, may this new learning bring you wisdom, growth, and connection.
Okay, so I'd like to do music, but I think I need to learn the sound of the notes, like recognize the sounds of the notes before I push off into some instrument.
Join a choir.
May this new learning bring you wisdom, growth, and connection.
Kristen.
Hi, I'm Kristen, and I want to learn creative and comedy writing.
May this new learning bring you wisdom, growth, and connection.
Alejandro.
I almost like one for you.
It is.
It's probably going to be a while, but because it's more of a lifelong thing, I've always wanted to learn the trumpets, but not just for anything, but to be just once in my life perform a song as part of a mariachi band. Just one song. I'm not asking for, whole thing, just one song. And specifically the mariachi. The trumpet. So I might have this song for a while. I might need a new one, but it's a Before I Die thing.
Before you die.
Yeah. Which I hope is...
Well, may this new learning.
Thank you.
Right, do you want to start a mariachi band?
All
right, Philip.
That would be.
I'm giving myself an easy one. I'd like to learn how to say I love you in 5 more languages.
That's awesome.
May this new learning bring you wisdom, growth, and connection.
And I can guarantee that if you go around in 5 different languages telling people you love them, that you will make connections. Anyone else? I know, it's a commitment. All right, Jeffrey. Excellent.
I'd like to start learning Italian. I already have Spanish under my belt.
All right.
May this new learning bring you wisdom, growth, and connection.
All right, let's see if anybody online. Okay. Oh, we've got a bunch here. Okay. All right. Ooh, interesting. So Sarah H., who's all the way down in Atlanta, she says, I want to learn how to play the dulcimer. Very cool. All right. May this new learning bring you wisdom, growth, and connection. All right. Lee Marie S., she says that she wants to learn to rest without feeling guilty. Right? Right? That is an excellent one. All right. May this new learning bring you wisdom, growth, and connection. And Jackie would like to learn how to be at peace in the present. Ooh, yeah. May this new learning bring you wisdom, growth, and connection. Margaret or Peggy P., she said, I would like to learn better how to snorkel so I can join my son on his dives in Catalina. May this new learning bring you wisdom, growth, and connection. Maureen M., she says that I want to increase my Hindi vocabulary. Wow, very cool. May this new learning bring you wisdom, growth, and connection. Anna says, I would like to learn how to draw and paint. Right there with you. May this new learning bring you wisdom, growth, and connection. Absolutely. And Francie says, I want to learn to play my guitar for the 4th time. Ha ha. And ukulele. Go, Francie. May this new learning bring you wisdom, growth, and connection. Oh, that's awesome. All right. We got a lot of learning going on here. So I just want to wrap up our wonderful time this morning. Let's see here. Can we go to the next slide? I'm not sure, maybe the battery's out on this. Oh, there we go. Okay, just so you know, what I'm committing to is more extemporaneous preaching, less looking down, more up. Thank you. So now this quote by Albert Einstein: once you stop learning, you start dying. I have to admit that's kind of my philosophy in life, and it sounds kind of harsh, but it feels that way to me. And we're going to be doing lots of different things. I think our souls yearn to grow and to learn, even though sometimes it can be uncomfortable. So we're going to be doing some learning this year. For example, we're going to be doing some visioning in a few weeks around our RE program. How do we grow our children in this church, right? We really need to do that. Been talking about forever. So we're going to have to do some major brainstorming with everybody, with everything. The other thing that's kind of interesting, we have this new animal ministry by Maureen that was started by Maureen. So the board actually thought that we want to support this animal ministry, and she's very against any torturing of any animal, obviously, right? And so we are going to, when we have a big event here, like our pledge drive or the auction, that kind of thing, just the big events, we're going to either buy food with humanely treated meats, so make sure that it has humanely treated meats in it, or vegan. So it's going to be kind of an experiment. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know. I know I'm not all that fond personally of a lot of vegan food, although if you've ever been to Nice Burger, oh, it's yummy. It's all vegan, all of it. And it's so good. I am an omnivore, but I think that if we do humanely treated meats, we can work. So it's an experiment. We're going to try this out for a year. It's something new for our congregation, and we'll be asking for your feedback. And as I said, it's only for those 2 events. It's up to you and your groups what you want to do. The other thing is that the choir would like to invite you to come singing with them if you've never done it. Is that right, choir? Yes. Okay, a little bit more enthusiasm, please.
Yeah! Get over here. We got seats.
So as I've said, learning is just so important to me, and I've been wanting to actually do this service for a long time. It's so important. I think of it as a spiritual practice, to be constantly astonished at the world. That's what happens. Whether I'm learning something about new people, a lot of you know I'm always like, hey, you want to go out to lunch? Because I want to get to know people. They constantly astonish me and amaze me, right? I learn something new all the time, different types of banjos. My world just gets expanded a little bit more, and my soul feels alive, and I want that for all of you if you don't have it already. So I hope you will never stop learning and trying new things, even if it feels a little uncomfortable. But remember, you can create the end of your own story. So just remember, you got to do when the Spirit says do, so let's sing.
Please rise in body or spirit, and let's sing when the Spirit says do.
You got to do when the Spirit says do. You got to do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you got to do, oh Lord. You've got to do when the Spirit says do. 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 You've got to sing when the Spirit says sing. You've got to sing when the Spirit says sing. When the Spirit says sing, you've got to sing, oh Lord. You've got to sing when the Spirit says sing. 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 You got to learn when the Spirit says learn. You've got to learn when the Spirit says learn. When the Spirit says learn, you've got to learn, oh Lord. You've got to learn when the Spirit says learn. 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 says Lord. Spirit says Lord.
You gotta learn that last part. Spirit says Lord.
Unitarian Universalist congregations are fully self-supporting, meaning that members and friends raise all funds for the operating budget, ministries, and programs of the church. We are ever grateful for your gifts of time, treasure, and talent. OCUUC amplifies that spirit of generosity by sharing one half of the plate we receive with an organization that shares our values. This month, as you can imagine, on Try Something New Sunday, we're doing something a little different. Most of you are aware of the horrific fires affecting the Pasadena and Palisades area. We have congregations there, and there are a few congregants who have lost a home or who have been evacuated. By sharing our plate with the UUA Disaster Relief Fund, you can help congregations and other UUs directly. We hope you will give generously as people struggle with their lives being upended. Sometimes new things can be more than scary. They can be life-threatening. You can mail a check. There are many ways which you can do this. You can mail a check, you can go through our website, or use an app called Vanco Mobile. If you're a roomer, you can also simply use the basket as it is passed. The choice is yours. All the information is on our website should you need it. As always, thank you for your generosity.
If you feel like trying something new and you know this song and want to sing along, you're more than welcome to sing along with us on Lead with Love by Melanie DeMore. Thank you. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up hope.
Don't give up hope.
You're not alone.
You're not alone.
Don't you give up.
Don't you give up.
Keep moving on.
Keep moving on.
You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Lift up your eyes.
Lift up your eyes.
Don't you despair.
Don't you despair.
Look up ahead.
Look up ahead.
The path is there.
The path is there.
You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. I know you're scared.
I know you're scared.
And I'm scared too.
And I'm scared too.
But here I am.
But here I am.
Right next to you.
Right next to you.
You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up hope.
Don't give up hope.
You're not alone.
You're not alone.
Don't you give up.
Don't you give up.
Keep moving on.
Keep moving on.
You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put
one foot in front of the other, and lead with love, and lead with love, and lead with love. Thank you. Please join us in singing We Gather Together, a song that puts our intentions into words and expresses the many gratitudes for the gifts that we share. We gather together, we gather as one, for peace, love, and justice for everyone. We give from our hearts to show that we care. We can change lives with what we share.
Now is that time when we honor the important events and people in our lives, and you are welcome, one and all, members, friends, visitors, everyone, to participate in this weekly ritual we call Joys and Sorrows. I'd like to invite Judith Stamper up here. She's one of our pastoral care team members, and she'll help you light the candles. And the idea is that if you've held something close to your heart that's been there, a profound joy or sorrow, you're welcome to honor it by lighting a candle. If you would like to share that joy or sorrow with the congregation, you can write it out on a slip of paper that the ushers can give you if you didn't get one when you already came in. Just simply hand it to me when you come forward to light your candle, and then I'll read them out loud. And of course, Zoomers, you can write it in the chat, and I'll read those out loud, and Judith will then light a candle for you after we've had everybody come forward here in the room. So please come forward, light your candle, and then we'll read them out loud. I'm going to read those here in person first, and then we'll read those from the chat and some that were sent to me as well. Sandy M. lit a candle of joy because her grandson, her and Dawn's grandson, Django, is turning 14 this week. Wow. Oh my gosh. And Tatiana H., she has a candle of joy because she finally found the perfect piano teacher. It's a Ukrainian musician and one of our former shelter residents named Natalia, and she's taking new students, by the way, just saying. So Tatiana, raise your hand. Anybody wants to learn piano? See her? All right. If you could light a candle as well. So here's one that was sent to me. Ralph H., he would like to thank Phyllis D. and Ava Lou for leading several Zoom discussion groups each month. They're absolutely fabulous for doing that. Thank you, Ralph. He is full of gratitude. Another one, if you could also light a candle for our very own Birdie. She turns 89 today. Can't remember how I found that out, but happy birthday. All right, and if you could light another candle, also Sarah J., who is our administrator, she and her whole family are out sick today. So I asked if she would like a candle, and she said, yes, please send healing good mojo to her. So, and then we have some other, lots of heartbreaking news as well. So, let's see here, Margaret Peggy P., she says she would like a candle lit for the distress and sadness for this week's human loss, suffering, historic landmarks, and beloved hiking trails and wildlife. And there was a number of people who brought this up as well. So Simone B., she said she lit a candle of sorrow because she says, like all of us, my heart breaks about the fires. She said, we lived in southern Pasadena when our first baby was born, and we spent 2 weeks in Pacific Palisades at some friends as we were moving to Joliet. And let's see here. Amelia N., she said she lit a candle of sorrow for a dear friend who lost her home on Wednesday morning. And many students at the school where she teaches are also displaced. Yeah. And then, let's see here. Kristen M., she also lit a candle for all of Los Angeles. She said, for all my friends, their pets, their houses, please stay safe. Thank you to all the helpers. LA is my second home. I love you, LA. And we have two personal losses here. John K., he lit a candle of sorrow because his brother Robert died on Friday. So please say a prayer of healing for his family in North Carolina. And Jamie P. also lit a candle of sorrow for the loss of my sister Evelyn on January 2nd. Sorry, Jamie. Oh, let's take a deep breath and let us hold and love all the joys and celebrations. Oh, I forgot there was one more over here before I go there. Sorry. So Linda C., she'll leave us on a nice note. She said, so grateful for all the love and support from me, Reverend Sean, and other church members during this last very scary time with a COPD flare-up and 4 days in the hospital learning to breathe again. We're grateful she's okay. So thank you, Linda. She's awesome. She's just awesome. All right, let us hold and love all the joys and celebrations and all the hurts and sadness, whether they were spoken or silent. Let our joys remind us to be thankful, our concerns remind us to hope, and our sorrows remind us to connect with one another. And let all these moments remind us that we are not alone. Please join Judith in a spirit of prayer.
Spirit of wonder and wisdom, we give thanks for the gift of learning, for the curiosity that calls us to explore, and for the courage to embrace what challenges us. Help us to remain open to new ideas that make us uncomfortable, open to truths that expand us, and open to the perspectives of others, knowing that each person holds a piece of the greater whole. When the path of learning feels steep, grant us patience to keep climbing. When mistakes become our teachers, grant us humility to learn and grow. In gratitude for the endless journey of discovery, we say, Amen.
Let us join together as we extinguish the flame of our chalice and say together, we extinguish our chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you for joining us this morning. If you're a guest, a visitor, or someone who hasn't yet been known to us, I invite you to become a part of this beloved community. If you'd like to know more about our church, we invite you to either stop by the welcome table in the courtyard outside or contact us at hello@ocuuc.org, and we will help you get connected. Zoomers are welcome to stay after and chat with one another online. And we want everyone to feel a part of this beloved community. So please reach out and we'll help you get connected.
So lots of different ways that you can connect up here. You'll see one of the big ones I want to remind you about is that our beloved Clover, her celebration of life service is next Saturday, but it's not 1 p.m. I got that wrong. It's 12:30. So you want to be here at 12:30. I will send out a special email about that as well. There's all sorts of interesting things going on after church the next couple of Sundays. Dave is going to be talking about our endowment fund. He's the chair of our endowment committee and what we want to do with all of that and give an update on where we're at with it. And then on February 2nd, after church, we're going to talk about brainstorming about how we're going to grow our RE program. And I would love to see everybody there. It's going to be a church-wide effort to figure out how to do this. You don't have to be a parent. You don't have to be a teacher. Everyone, I want to invite everyone to be there for that. The other thing is that you met Carol when she came up here today. Carol, where are you? There you are. There she is. When she lit the chalice, she is actually helping coordinate some efforts, if it's needed, for people who need temporary housing due to the wildfires. This is going to be an ongoing issue, unfortunately. Right? And so if you have extra room and you know that you're able to do that, or if you're like me and I don't have an extra room, but I'm great with pets, I can take in a pet. So if you know that you could take in a dog or a cat, even if you can't take in a person, I've got like a couch somebody could sleep on, but then let Carol know as well. She's going to be going around afterwards with a clipboard getting names of people if they're willing to provide temporary housing. So again, raise your hand, Carol. And for those of you online, if you can, just send me an email and I'll pass that information on to Carol. So, all right. Thank you so much, Carol. I tell you, she's jumping right in, right? Excellent. Yeah. All right. Let us keep on learning. All right. This service is over. Let our service continue.